Good afternoon. Do you hear me well? Perfect. So, buenas tardes y bienvenidos.
Good afternoon and welcome, all of you.
Workshop today, and which is dedicated to the very interesting topics around the fish consumption. It's certainly a hot topic this week as the fish consumption appears to be declining, especially in Spain, and that's obviously a big concern for all of us. And so we will be conducting this workshop in English, so please try to use your headsets. You can find the headsets over there. So we have two speakers, English speakers and two Spanish speakers. And my name is Janne Posti, and I'm the Conxemar representative in Brussels, and I'm super pleased to moderate this session on trends in seafood and aquaculture consumption in EU and future insights. And this is an initiative by EUMOFA, European Market Observatory and for Fisheries and Aquaculture Products. And I think this talk today in Conxemar 2025 is extremely timely and relevant, and we will explore the current trends in seafood and aquaculture consumption across the EU and offer some insights how these trends might evolve in the future. And so also we will be talking about the changing consumer preferences and discuss the challenges and opportunities of the sector, and hopefully we can exchange some good ideas also and how to promote the seafood and adapt to the future market needs. And as I said, Conxemar 2025 is a great venue to do this because it's one of the major seafood industry expos and provides a perfect venue and bringing together many stakeholders. And today we are very fortunate to have an excellent panel of speakers. First we have Mr. Christophe Vande Weyer, who is the policy officer at DG MARE, the European Commission, and Christophe has a super long experience working on fisheries market policies, and he has supported member states and operators in implementing the common fisheries policy and also the common market organization. And currently Christophe coordinates the EUMOFA, and which is the main tool for delivering the market intelligence for policymakers and stakeholders. Then as we have Mr. Erik Øksenvåg, who is a senior analyst at Kontali, which is a world-leading analysis and consulting company, and also Erik has a very long experience and expertise in financial benchmarking, salmon farming sector and seafood market analysis. And since 2010, Erik has been a senior analyst with EUMOFA. And third one, we have Mr. Rafael Piñero. Rafael is the head of institutional relations for the maritime sector at Mercadona. And Rafael is originally from Cadiz, and he holds degrees in journalism, advertising and public relations, as well as master's degree in corporate and institutional communication management from the University of Sevilla. And Rafael joined Mercadona in 2017. And last but not least, we have Mrs. Cristina Calvo-Porral, who is the PhD, full professor of marketing at the University of Coruña, and Cristina has been included in the Stanford ranking among the 2% of the most influential scientists in both 2024 and 25. So Cristina has very extensive research career, and she focuses on consumer behavior, food retail, and food marketing. And she has numerous academic publications in these areas. And after these presentations, we will have an opportunity for Q&As. Without any further delay, I would like to give the floor to Christophe, who will open this session by presenting the basic functions of EUMOFA. So Christophe, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Janne. Good afternoon, everyone. So, before briefly explaining what EUMOFA is about, I would like first to thank Conxemar, and in particular Yobana Bermudez and Janne for inviting the European Commission and to organize for the organization of this talk. So thank you very much. So in a nutshell, EUMOFA, it may be that some of you are already familiar with EUMOFA, I hope, consulting the publications, downloading the data. EUMOFA is the European Union Market Observatory for Fisheries and Aquaculture Products. Thank you. It's the main tool of the European Commission to deliver on its obligation to provide market intelligence to stakeholders. EUMOFA was set up by the European Commission at the moment of the reform of the Common Fisheries Policy in 2014. It's based on three pillars, EUMOFA. It's first of all, the first pillar are the data. EUMOFA is a web platform and it's a huge database. So concretely, you can find, on EUMOFA, you can find data on all steps of the value chain, from production to retail to consumption. You will find data on volumes, on values, on prices of all the species that are put on the market of the European Union, at member states level, at a place of landing level. These data are covering more than 10 years now, and that is the big added value of EUMOFA in terms of market observatory, is that it allows comparability from one year to another, but also across the European Union. And in fact, there are no other market observatories that make it possible to compare one member state to another using exactly the same methodologies. It is also the largest database for trade data. So on EUMOFA, you can consult trade data on trade flows for fishery and aquaculture products between the EU and third countries, but also between third countries. So if you're interested to know the trade flows for a specific species between, let's say, Peru and the United States, you can find that on EUMOFA as well. The second pillar, the studies. EUMOFA, beyond being a database, is also an expert center. So in EUMOFA, we have several experts that carry out studies on subject of interest for the sector. These studies, they are available in the form of publications. So there is one flagship publication. One moment. It's the EU fish market. So this is probably the most comprehensive report on the development of the European Union market for fishery and aquaculture products. So it's released every year. The next release will be for November. So it covers all species, all member states, with, of course, a focus on the European Union, but also a global perspective. Then you have the monthly highlights, which is a monthly snapshot of the market developments. And if you subscribe to EUMOFA, you will receive it every month. And then you have all the thematic studies that are carried out by EUMOFA, either on specific species, on specific markets, on specific sectors of the industry. All those publications are available in several languages or in all languages. They are available for free. You can consult them online, but you can also download them. And if you need, for any reason, paper copies, you just ask. And the third pillar of EUMOFA is the dissemination of this information. And this takes the form of debates, conferences, either live, like today, when we have the opportunity to attend a major event for the sector. We try to organize what we call a EUMOFA talk and have it experts around the table to present their view on the market development, but also the possibility to exchange with the audience. And then we organize also webinars here and there on always subject of interest for the sector. So Thank you very much for your attention. Now I will give the floor to Jan Erik to dig into the actual subject of the day, the consumption of fisheries and aquaculture products on the EU. Thank you.
See? No. Yeah, here we go. Firstly, thank you for the introduction by Janne and Christophe. I will try to draw up a kind of backdrop for consumption in the EU seafood and aquaculture, or fisheries and aquaculture consumption in the EU, with no special emphasis on country, but the last trends and kind of as an introduction for the other speakers and presentations following. So, where is EU in terms of consumption in the compared with other markets, other geographies in the world? If you see at total consumption on in the EU places on fourth place, looking at EU as one unit, with a consumption slightly lower than 11 million tons a year. The figures here is from OECD FAO forecast figures for consumption. So, in terms of nominal volumes consumed, EU is on fourth place. If we look at per capita consumption of fishery and aquaculture products in the EU, EU is further down on the list, on the 16th place, with an estimated per capita consumption of slightly below 21 kilo per capita. And as we see from the previous slides and this slide, the projections from OECD and from FAO, they predict that consumption will increase in markets that is expected to increase the production in aquaculture. So the 21 kilo per capita, how does that fit to the advice from authorities on how much fish we should eat? If we assume that in general the advice from national authorities in sum or in average, the advice is 2 meals per week. The meal size is around 150 grams edible weight. And if we assume that the overall average conversion factor from edible weight to live weight is 0.6, could be 0.55, it could be higher as well, but just to have an idea on where the nutritional advice is in terms of the actual consumption, we land at approximately 26 kilo per capita per year. And if we compare that with the previous slide where the consumption was for the EU 20.76, we are a bit lower on consumption than the advice from food authorities. So so we have to eat more, perhaps. So what are the main species or products consumed in the EU? Tuna has topped the list for several years, followed by salmon, number 2, mainly dominated by Atlantic salmon. And then we have shrimps and the main whitefish species, Alaska pollock, followed by cod and mussels. And of course, consumption of seafood, fishery and aquaculture product varies a lot between different member states, with Spain one of the countries in lead. So, what do consumer research say about the consumer habits when it comes to consumption? A recent research from Eurobarometer showed that the consumption is falling and that the price has become more important for the end consumer than in previous years. This research is conducted every 4th year, so the last survey was conducted in 2021. So during that period, with a high inflation, price has become the most important factor when it comes to consumer considering purchasing fishery and aquaculture products. It also states that 1/3 of the consumers in the EU, they purchase or consume seafood once a week or more frequent. And it also says that 15% of the consumers in the EU doesn't consume fish at all. And as a kind of consequence of the focus on price, where you have the household budgets are stretched, we see also through the market research that the kind of products consumed, the categories has changed from fresh being the main product consumed 4 years ago. Now it's frozen and canned category taken over that role. It's kind of natural if you're going to have more fishery and aquaculture products for your household budgets. And also, just to underline the kind of importance of prices, the focus on prices, I have added also a slide here which shows to the right, or sorry, to the left, the inflation on fishery and aquaculture products of the last years compared with food in general, where we see that seafood started on a slightly higher level on food in general, but then food inflation has surpassed food. And also we see other kind of meat, proteins has also during the period surpassed seafood as well. So when seafood or the end consumer says that seafood has become expensive and price is one of the main factors for deciding if we're going to purchase seafood, I think we have to look at seafood and prices for seafood in the context of food in general, because we are talking about the household budget and how to cope in a period with high general inflation. So I think I will end here. I guess we will come back to several of those topics later on. So for now, thank you.
Many thanks, Jan Erik. And to be honest, for me, I was quite surprised that 15% of the EU citizens don't ever eat fish at home. So it's quite sad, actually. Yeah. Anyways, like I said, that we will have the questions and answers session later. And I would like to give the floor directly to Mr. Rafael Piñero. And Rafael will explain the evolution of the seafood consumption in Spain and also share Mercadona's future vision and for addressing this issue as one of the largest retailers in the country. So please, Rafael, the floor is yours.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon, and thanks to Conxemar for inviting me to this roundtable where Mercadona can talk about how we are dealing with the consumption of fisheries products. I'm going to start my presentation giving you some context. If you go online and search fish consumption in Spain, the first pieces of news that you can find are these. The fish consumption dropped by 30% in 10 years. Drop of fish consumption in Spanish households, only 18 kilograms per person per year, per capita per year. So this is the context that we have, a general decrease of fish consumption and seafood consumption in Spanish households. And this is new for us in the country. So in 2014, we were consuming 26.4 kilograms per capita per year, and now we are consuming 18. So in 10 years, the consumption has dropped by 30%. And this shows a concerning data, which is that young people are the ones who have stopped eating fish. Young couples with kids, according to these statistics, young people in general are the ones who eat less fish. In our internal surveys in the company, we've seen that our customers from 18 to 35 are not consuming fish at all, or they consume it once a week. And the reasons that they give for not eating fish are the price, taste, but also they say that they don't know how to cook it. So these are the main reasons for young people. And if we check the ones who do consume fish, more than 50% eat fried fish, grilled fish, sorry, and they try to find easy ways to consume fish at home. So the sector is concerned about the generational relief, but also there is a lack of generational relief in the consumption, and especially in the fish counter. If we analyze the reasons for this reduction of fish consumption, we find different causes. The first one, as it has been mentioned before, is the price. And this negative perception of the customer that fish is expensive. It is true that this protein is more expensive than others, but there are species for all budgets. You can find fish that is cheaper. So the problem is that people think that fish is expensive always. And then another factor is convenience. There is an increasing demand of ready-to-eat, easy formats adapted to the consumption trends. So people want convenient things. They want clean fish, boneless, ready-to-eat. People say they would like to have more time to cook, but we are spending less and less time in the kitchen, and convenience has become one of the main factors for consumption. So a mix of both factors has led to a disconnection of young people with the fish category. So we've seen that consumers are evolving, and they are doing it with these variables. They are asking for more quality with ready-to-eat products, more species and different dishes. They are not used to cooking. They don't know how to cook many dishes. Then time, of course. We are always trying to find quick dishes. We don't have enough time to cook. And then we are increasingly aware with sustainability and healthy concerns. And also, there are more and more households with only one member. Divorced people, single, etc. How are we dealing with this in Mercadona? We need to bring the product to our consumers, and that's why we have to go from the table to the sea and not the other way around. We need to adapt to the demand with a clear objective. We have a change in our sales model in the fish counter. We want to provide ready-to-eat, easy formats adapted to the new lifestyles that we have. Therefore, we have changed our sales models. We used to have the traditional fish counters that can still be found in our shops, but we are moving to a free service with trays. So, like this, we can deal with this objective with two approaches: higher quality and better service to increase our penetration in the market among young people. When we talk about quality, we are offering fresh products with a longer shelf life. You can see salmon here. The first picture is how I get it from the fishmongers. Fresh, just wrapped. And we are moving to trays with already cleaned salmon. It's ready just to cook it at home. The other way, you need to cook it as you get home, and with a tray you can wait 2-3 days until you want to consume it. And then service. We have 3 varieties of gilt sea bream here, for example, open in portions, and we are helping the consumers to eat fish at home with more convenient products. With the tray, I don't have to wait the queue in the fishmongers. I don't have time, so I just take the tray, I take it home, and I can eat it whenever I want. We have already started making some tests in our shops with a clear objective, which is a lab where we can see how this works, and we are actively listening to our customers, to our workers and suppliers who are part of our project. So we try to improve quality and service, always adapted to consumption trends, and also we try to improve the processes with efficiency, reliability, profitability, and we need to work together with the industry, of course, because they are the ones who have the knowledge, and they can help us to improve our quality and service.
Many thanks, Rafael, for your excellent insights. I think, as we heard, the consumers tend to prefer now very easy products that are easy to cook and which are very convenient, and so no one has time anymore to cook at home, which is a bit sad as well. But that's the future, and without any further delay, I would like to give the floor to our last speaker, Professor Cristina Calvo-Porral, and Cristina will give us some academic insights into the consumer motivations and barriers behind the seafood consumption. So, Cristina, floor is yours.
Buenas tardes. Es un placer.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the behavior of consumers and what we know from the academia in the field of marketing regarding barriers and motivations when consuming fish. I have 10 minutes, so I'm I'll try and be very brief and concise. So what you can see on the image is a representation of what consumers do today. They have a stimulus, they start looking for information in the social media or in the internet, and then they also ask for information from other consumers, and they watch some videos, and then they get to the shelf, whether it is physical or virtual. If we talk about consumption of food, this gets more complex. Buying products, cooking products, consuming products, this case can result in food waste even. So what do we know from the point of view of science and academia? What do we know about the motivations that consumers in Spain and Europe have when it comes to consuming fish? 5 motivations: health, convenience, taste, based on pleasure, and also about, tasting new products, trying new products, and also an ethical motivation. There are campaigns, governmental campaigns, that try to highlight the fact that consumption of fish is healthy, and that we, as consumers, must be aware that this is a product that is good for our health, that is good for our heart, that is good for us in general. A number of campaigns, as you can see. And then the second motivation is the consumption of fish based on pleasure, because we know that consumers consume fish not because they're hungry, but because of the organoleptic characteristics, etc. This is something that is pleasant and that consumers like, so this is a demanded product. There are recent communication campaigns, such as this one, where the taste of the flavor of the product has been highlighted. Another motivation is convenience. So sometimes fish is consumed because it's presented as a convenient product that is easy to buy, easy to preserve, easy to cook, easy to prepare, easy to eat. And this saves time, saves the consumer time. And this is a value that consumers attach more importance to gradually. So we have examples such as this, where you have a package that is easy to open and that is ready to eat as soon as you open it. Some other examples is these products by Pescanova, where the product is ready to heat and eat. So you save time when preparing and consuming the product, as you can see on the images. Even preparing octopus at home, there are companies that offer a product that is ready to eat. Even in houses where there are children, households with children, this is attractive for children, because many children do not like to eat fish. So this is a smart way to present the product. Even there are consumers who do this to try new products, such as this one, pasta from the sea by Pescanova, or they even try innovative products such as velvet swim crab pate, or this snack that is made out of the scales of the salmon, that is a part of the product that is normally discarded. This is a source of omega-3, and this is a way to try an innovative product. Or even this roe, flying fish roe. There are consumers who consume the product because it's innovative. Also, there are ethical motivations, that is to reduce the consumption of meat. So this would lead consumers to eat plant-based products that seem to be real fish, that appear to be real fish. This is being called hake, but the company, but with a different writing, or these products, which are called Vescaito vegan fish. Really, this is not fish. This is fish for vegans. This is plant-based, a plant-based product. There are other motivations too. For example, the fact that it's available, accessible at the point of sale, the fact that it's an unplanned consumption. I haven't got the time for that, so I just buy these because I'm in a hurry. This is for my dinner. Or even gastronomic culture, especially in regions such as Spain or Galicia. This helps children learn that this is a product that can be consumed. And then we have barriers, as there are pitfalls or factors that stop the consumer from consuming this product. We have the lack of abilities to clean and prepare the product, the lack of time to do that, or the perception of a poor food safety. the consumer perceive that this is very expensive, as Rafael has said, so they choose other products. There are cheaper products. And here we have a number of campaigns by the Galician government to foster the consumption by the consumer of fish. It's perceived as an expensive product. In other countries, we see campaigns like this, happy hours, where you get a discount with a view to reducing waste, food waste. Another barrier is perceived risk. And in this regard, one of the variables that we know favor risk in fish consumption is that, or the perception of risk is that consumers do not know where this fish comes from. Things such as haddock or pangasius. People want their product to come from Celeiro, which is a village in the north of Galicia. So these products highlight that the product is local, is from Galicia. This other campaign saying that it is our fish, so you can trust it. Another barrier, it's the self-perception that the consumer might have, that they haven't got the abilities that are necessary to prepare or cook the fish. It's a very important barrier when it comes to dealing with young consumers. This is a hard task, so if you are in the shoes of a young person, they don't really know what to do with fish. So this is another barrier. But through education and gastronomic education and culture, you can actually foster these skills so that people, even young people, would want to learn how to cook this. We have well-known chefs, famous chefs such as Arguiñano here in Spain, or Jordi Cruz, or David Muñoz, who are well-known chefs in Spain that people might follow in the social media, etc. The lack of time is another important barrier because people haven't got much time. So a lot of retail chains have launched a lot of ready-to-heat or ready-to-eat products that save consumers time. We have a range of products that are intended to save people time. The last barrier is the perception of a poor food safety. We have seen stories in the media that might generate alarm, that might alarm the consumer, the presence of mercury in fish. You can see this in the media all the time, even communication campaigns by public bodies that are recommending tips or giving recommendations for the consumption of fish with a potential mercury content. Even the problem of anisakis is on the media all the time. With stories such as the ones you see on the image, and then the problem of bisphenol with, you see, the reduction of food safety as perceived by the consumer involved.
Thank you so much, Cristina. You touched on so many interesting topics and themes around the fish consumption. It was a very interesting presentation, and so now I would like to open the floor for questions. Don't be afraid. I can see that there's already one question, and we have microphone coming there. And please introduce yourself and
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Graciela Pereira.
I am Graciela Pereira. I am the head of InfoPesca, which is an intergovernmental body related to Fin Network, FAO. And my question is for Professor Cristina Calvo-Porral. I would like to clarify that I come from Uruguay, first of all. And I am saying this because in Uruguay and in Argentina, we eat more than 50 kilos per person of beef. Yes, this is a culture-based thing. I mean, just like Galicians eat a lot of fish or Peruvians eat a lot of fish. So I'd like to know why you included the word ethical as a way of, the fact that eating meat or eating beef is not an ethical thing to do. Well, there is a cultural component to the consumption of fish and seafood. There are studies according to which a number of consumers in Europe and Spain start worrying about animal welfare and how cows are treated, for example, from the farm to the fork. So there is a growing trend towards ethical consumption, that is, eating animals but respecting them, or reducing, limiting, or even banning or self-banning the consumption of or animal protein. So that is a trend, an existing trend, and that's why I mentioned it. Okay, thank you very much. I have understood the concept behind it. Thank you.
Gracias. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Boris.
Good afternoon, my name is Boris Mejias. I am the commercial advisor of Ecuador in Spain. So I work with basically shrimp and tuna coming from Ecuador, and this is a question for Rafael from Mercadona. From the commercial point of view that you have touched on, consumption is in a downward trend for this type of product. So what do you think would be an appropriate strategy to try and promote consumption in general? For example, the Ecuadorian product that is sold in Mercadona through Pescanova, shrimp in particular. Do you think that it is possible to have a cooperation between retail and the producing country, in this case of tuna or shrimp, in a way such that the consumption can be favored and health can be also favored at the same time, and all the issues that the doctor has actually mentioned? Well, at the end of the day, we work with adaptation to consumption habits. We have a challenge, the fisheries industry, which is to adapt to the new habits and to offer products that are actually meeting the needs that clients have nowadays. And of course, we consider cooperation with a number of different countries, retail and countries. We are open to that, of course, especially to guarantee that we have a raw material, which is a key component in the sector. Thank you.
Hola, buenas tardes. Yo tengo dos preguntas. Una para Cristina.
Two questions. One of them is for Cristina. Regarding plant-based products, if we know that these are supposed to mimic or replace fish, to put it like that, and they are using the properties, qualitative nutritional properties that fish has, so they invent these names that are similar to fish. This actually is a way of deceiving consumers, isn't it? Because consumers actually think that this is fish. They are not clear about the fact that plant-based products are not real fish. So do you think that, the industry has been demanding a specific legislation for that type of products in terms of labeling, just like we have in seafood products? Do you think that this is necessary from the point of view of the consumer, or do you think that it is clear that, they cannot be confused or mistaken as fish because the labels are clear enough? Well, definitely this needs to be well regulated, and it's not well regulated. There can't be any action in the point of sale that can actually mislead the consumer. But it's not just about the labels, also the brand. We see designations that try to mimic hake or fish. Also the location of the product, because funnily enough, since this is not regulated either, we go to a supermarket and we find that in the same shelf you have fish and plant-based products that are similar to fish. So this is not regulated, so you are totally right. This might mislead consumers. Okay. Rafael, please take note of this, and the European Union also take note of the fact that we need new legislation for this type of products. And another question is the following. When we talk about a greater consumption, Jan Erik, thank you very much for your presentation. We see that tuna is in the first position, first place of that ranking, but this means that there's a lot of tinned tuna because it's cheap. It's the cheapest way to eat fish. So having this in mind, would it be ideal to start thinking in a global way, to put it like that, in terms of a global supply, to be able to supply the European Union with cheaper protein that doesn't necessarily need to be of a lower quality or from illegal fisheries. Simply, there is a greater access to the resource, adds more value to the European Union. So my question is, should we have to stop talking about this type of imports and start talking about imports of raw materials that the European Union industry needs in order to supply protein that is affordable in price for the market, and then talk about other type of imports that is the final product that does not bring any added value? Thank you very much.
Any other questions, please? Don't be afraid. Luis.
Muchísimas gracias por la presentación.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I'd like to ask two questions for EUMOFA. The first question is, whether with the data that you have on fish consumption in the EU, have you got any statistics of the evolution of cost or price of the final product in the last 15 or 10 years, general prices, not prices for a specific species? That would be the first question. And the second question is, are there simulations of what would be the cost to the final consumer if there was a discount in terms of taxes in the European Union?
For the question. Yes, EUMOFA monitors prices at consumer level, and we have done that for many years. So data is available on the EUMOFA web page. We also do several price transmission studies as well, where you can see how the price develops from the first stage in the supply chain to the end consumer as well. So not only how the final price to the end consumers has developed, but also the transmission through the supply chain as well. These are data available on the EUMOFA web pages. And I didn't remember your last question.
The second question is whether there are simulations of what would be the consumption in the European Union if, as a matter of fact, there was a reduction in taxes and the taxes that are applied in the member states with a view to fostering the consumption of fish in the European Union.
Not conducted such studies. But when having said that, we see now in the examples in 2025 where we have, for example, salmon, which is highlighted from many speakers. We have huge production this year of salmon. Prices has come down, and we see that when there are kind of cooperation between the producers and the retailers and also other players in the supply chain, we see a strong increase in sales and also demand, where you have campaigns in period when we have campaigns 20%, 30% decrease in prices. So when kind of transmitting this into taxes, yes, by lowering the taxes by the same amount, it should have the same effect, one should believe, but we have not done any concrete effects on lowering taxes, no.
Thank you so much. I think we need to wrap up because time is running, and so I will say a few closing remarks. I think what I got from this session is that we can see that the fish consumption is declining in many EU countries, notably in Spain, and the consumers are looking for very easy products to cook, and however, we also know that the taste and the texture of the products also influence the fish consumption, and fish is always often eaten as a pleasure and apparently not out of the necessity, like it was mentioned in the Cristina's presentation, and also that the cost of the product has become the most important factor in terms of purchasing decisions among the European consumers. And then we also, it was also mentioned that the consumption of frozen and canned seafood products is currently higher than the fresh fish consumption, and we need to do a lot of innovation, make sure that the younger generations do not leave the fish out of their plates completely. And so did I forget something important? And also we need imports to feed the European Union, of course. So many thanks for the speakers and for the audience for joining today. And but before we close, I would like to remind you that EUMOFA has a stand in the hall 6, so it's in the entrance basically, right next to the FAO and EFCA stand. So please stop by when you can. And the recording of this workshop also will be available soon on the EUMOFA YouTube channel. And so please visit the channel and share the video if you need. And also there's this QR code, if I can have the last slide. So you can subscribe to the EUMOFA newsletter by using the QR code. And once again, many thanks for participating, and enjoy the rest of the day.